Hello folks, welcome to yet another exciting video on popular demand. Web scraping using Python. We are going to scrape the Yahoo Finance website to get some really cool stock related data which we can eventually use it in Python. Now, if you don't know what is web scraping, let me explain you in very simple words. So, web scraping is a process of collecting data from any website automatically. Yes, it's that simple. But wait, before we begin, if you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button right now. Also, if you like my video, please share and like it right away. It helps me in reaching out to wider audiences. Please do that. It motivates me a lot. Also, a quick disclaimer for you. You need to consider the privacy and website terms and conditions before you go and scrap that website. It's important. Towards the end of this video, I'm going to tell you how exactly you can do that. So stay tuned and let's begin. Okay, so we are on Google. I'm going to type Yahoo Finance here and search for it. The first result I got is the Yahoo Finance website. I'm going to click on it. As I do that, Yahoo Finance website will open. Now there is a lot of data in here, but I'm not interested in all this data. What I'm really interested in market data. So I go to market data here and I see there are a couple of indicators of the data which I can see. But what I'm interested here is to pull out today only the mutual fund related data. So let me click on the top mutual fund here. As I do that, the mutual fund page will open and I can see that there is a small advertisement here. But as I scroll it down, there is a table available here with all the mutual fund, its change in price, percentage change, average price, and so on. So all the details are available, which I am interested to pick up from this website, right? So I want to have this data in my Python, which I can eventually use it for purpose like my analytics purpose or model building purpose. But I cannot copy paste it each and every row and then create table. It will be very cumbersome. So good thing is that Python is at our helm. And it can help us to pull out this data automatically, and within few lines of code, we can pick up the entire table, right? How do we do that? That process is called web scraping, right? But before we go there, I need to tell you something about web scraping and how do you do that? So you need to have some background about HTML and the CSS. Now, even if you don't know about HTML and CSS, you can go to Google and I'll put some interesting links down there, which you can go and refer it. You need to learn briefly about HTML. If you read those documents, I think you are good to go. Let me pull out this structure for you. Now, the structure which you see on your screen shows a simple table. Whenever I am referring column or header, that means I'm talking about the name of the column, and the rows are individual rows in that table. So row number 1, row number 2, row number 3, and row number 4. So on. This is like global convention. You are aware, but I just wanted to make sure that you do not miss any part of this video, which I'm going to cover, right? And each individual cell is a table record or the table data that we are referring to, right? Okay, superb. Let's come back to our Yahoo Finance website, and we know that we want this table to be scrapped. So let's go onto this table and you need to do this thing. Go on this table and just do the right click there. Right? As you do that, go into inspect, click on inspect, and you find some super nerdy codes here. So don't worry about these codes. These are pretty simple. Right now, we are not going and reading those HTML codes there, but what we are interested in, if you see this highlighted part, so if I go to this highlighted part, it will show me that this code talks about this particular cell, right? So as we know that we are interested in to pull this table. So what you need to do is you need to find out something called table as a class. So as you scroll it up slightly, you will find here, yeah, there you go, table class. Can you see this line? So if you click on this line, you will see that it covers the entire table. So we are interested in to pull this table, and that's the only important thing here right now. So if you see the table, you see the class, and then you see some numbers written here. Don't worry about this number. You just need to remember that you wanted to pull this table class here, right? Okay, and then you find something called TR here. So TR is nothing but, as you go and scroll your cursor onto TR, that's nothing but table record. It talks about each individual row in the table. So this talks about the first row in the table. That's TR class. As you go into TD, call span class, or TD, TD is basically about tabular data. So it talks about each individual cell. So we wanted to pull this entire table, but within that table, we also wanted to pull this table, each individual table rows and each individual table data, right? So there's three things you need to keep in mind. Now, without confusing you much, let me go to my Python file here and let me create a new Python file here and let me name it as web scraping. Okay, we are good to go now. So we require a couple of libraries which we're going to import. So first library which we want is Beautiful Soup. Now, Beautiful Soup is a library which is very useful when you go and do the web scraping, right? In case if you don't have Beautiful Soup installed in your computer, what you can do is you can type this code called pip install Beautiful Soup 4. And since I have installed it in my system, I'm not going to type it, but I'm just commenting it out. So you can go and install it. Make sure that you have an active internet connection while you do so. And once it's installed, you can restart your kernel and practically use Beautiful Soup 4. So what we're going to do is from BS4, that's Beautiful Soup 4, we are going to import Beautiful Soup here. And we are also going to import pandas, right? And pandas as PD. We are also going to import request library. As I do that, the libraries get imported and we are good to go starting our web scraping. So let me go to this website, the Yahoo website, and let me close this code part of it. So this is a table which we need to scrape, right? So this table is available under this web page. So let me copy the link of this web page and declare it as maybe a URL object. So this is the URL which we wanted to scrap, right? So let's show you how does it look like. So it does look like this, right? So once we have this URL, we want all the content which is there in the URL and store it in some kind of object, right? So that's where we can get the help of Beautiful Soup, right? So let me say that first we'll get all the content which is there on this web page. So we'll say that response is equal to requests, right? And request get URL. So what will happen? Request will go to that URL and it will store the response here, right? Let me click on it and let me show you what's there in response. So if I do that, it shows the 200 response. That means you're getting some data. In case if response is 404 or 4 series response, that means there is some error, but we're good to go. I'll show you something. So what response has done, it has captured all the data which is there on the website. So if you do response.contain, it's going to give you all the data which is there in website HTML format, right? We need to pass it in a meaningful way so that we can pick out only the required detail from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say soup as an object. Now you can name any object, but since we're using Beautiful Soup, the convention is people use that soup. So we're calling Beautiful Soup. And we're going to pass that response.contain, all the content in here. And we need to pass it in a format called HTML.parser so that we can use that table class. And you know the syntax which I'm showing you a couple of minutes back. So we want in that format. So we're saying HTML.parser. I'm completing my parentheses and let me hit enter. So now if you see the soup, you don't find a lot of difference here, but you will see that it's an HTML format. So let me show you. Remember, we were interested in table class. So that's here. That particular thing is here. So from here on, our table starts. So we don't want the details like if you see this, all these details like advertisements and this indexes. So those kind of detail I'm not interested to pick up. I'm only interested to pick up this table. So I'm going to delete this cell first. And now I'm going to create an object called table, Now table is nothing but it will only pick up the required data as I told you. So I'm going to type table soup dot find, and I'm going to type find table, right? And that's what I'm going to find. But once it finds table, you can see there are a lot of tables. Let me show you soup here first, and let me explain you. So as you do soup, and if you do control find and you do table, you find there are 49 results, right? But we only want one result. So if you see this result where it starts with table as a class object, we only want that, right? So we need to specify which table we want. So we are searching for table, and then we need to pass attributes. So we are saying where attributes class is equal to, and that's dictionary, right? So we are saying class is equal to W 100%, right? So class where the value is maintained as W 100%. And let me execute this. As I do that, I can now go and search about table here. I do that, it has only pulled out the data where of table class it's stored under this object. So this is practically the table which you have pulled out from the website, right? But it's not in the format which we want. We cannot like comprehend anything out of it. So we need some kind of data frame format for which we need to pull out this data, right? So let me show you how we can do that. So let's go down here and let's create the header. So remember this particular structure. So we're going to pull out the column name first, right? So that's where I'm calling this object called header, and I'm giving it as a blank list. And then I'm going to write for, and if you see the header name, it's stored under object called th. Let me show you here, th. And yeah, as you see here, the th class, so each th is nothing but the table header. So it's nothing but all this name. So you have a symbol, you have a name, you have a change, percentage change, price, and so on. So we want that column name, and that's stored under class called th. So we say here, we are going to iterate through the loop. So we are going to iterate through entire data. And when we say that, wherever you find th, just store the value of that column into the header, right? So we say that for th in table dot find all, and we're going to type th because that's what we are going to find. So when you do that, it's simply search like how do we do it in Windows. So it's going to search all th there in the table object, right? So once it finds, it creates a list and it will iterate to each th, right? So let me show you how it works. So then we say that header dot append, and once it found for each th object, we are going to use text dot strip. So it's going to only strip the required value. Let me show you how does it work. So when you do table dot find all and th, let me copy this and paste it over here, and let me execute this. As you do that, you find all this price, intraday, 50-day average, 20-day average, 3 months return, year till date return. All these are column name, and that's are stored under text.strip. So it's gonna get all this column names when you do text.strip, and it's going to store it in a header as a list, right? So we'll have all the column name. Let me execute this cell, and it's executed. So let me show you header. As you pull out header, you'll find symbol, name, change, percentage change, price, 50-day. So it's practically as pulled out all this text, required text, and that's nothing but the name of the column. As you see from this table, it has picked out all the column names, right? So now we have a column name. What we want is each individual data in each of the row. So again, similar to like th, we are going to see the table records, the tr, right? The object which we are going to see. So let me do this. Let me create this list called data here, and we're going to write for tr in table dot find underscore all, and we're going to find what tr, that's table record. So each individual row in here. Now once we find table records, you know that the first row in the record it's basically the header. So we don't want the first row. Our actual data which we want is from second row. So you know the index from Python starts from 0. So I'm going to type, we required all the records starting from 1 all the way till the end. So that's how I say 1 to the end. And when we do this, let me show you. So let me copy this and paste it somewhere here at the bottom. And let me show you. When we do table.find_all, and then we find all table records, that's tr object, it's going to give us all the objects, right? If you see the first list contains all the column names in here, which we don't want it. So I'm going to say here 1, starting from 1, give me all the records, and that's going to give me all the records which starts from 1, right? So that's what this loop is all about. Now, let me show you. Once we have this records, we are going to store it in a row. So we are defining here another list called row. We're going to store all these records, and we again now pick up each individual cell in that row. So in row, you have value against each of this column. So we're going to pick up each individual value against that column and store it in a row format. So we say that for td in tr.find all, and we say that td. So in each row, go and find each individual cell, right? And once you find it, you do row.append td.text.strip, just the way we did it for header, right? So it will go and store all the required values there in a row for each individual row, right? And once you do that, we can do data, the list which we defined, and we say that append, and then we can append that each individual row. So once we pick out each individual cell and put it into the row, we have one row ready. Now that row, we can pull it into the data. So that's our practically the first record or the first row. Again, it will go and iterate through this second loop, and it will pick up the second row. It will create the second row, and it will again merge with the data. So data will contain row by row by row data. Once we do that, the data and append row, it will get created. And let me execute this. As I do that, let me show you what's there in data. So as we go into the data, it will show list of list. So you see, that's why there are 2 square brackets. So the first list contains the record about the first row, or rather the second row in the table. So let me show you the table. So this was our website. The first row, or rather the first record which we have, is this Pender Global Focused Fund Series O. If you go here and see the record, it's Pender Global Fund Series O. If you see its return, it's 0.44, that's change. Percentage change is 4.87%. Let me take it to here. It's plus 0.44 and plus 4.87% change. That's what we get as a first record here. The second record is again Pender Global Focused Fund Series H. If you go and see to the website, Pender Global Focused Fund Series H, and that's how we able to get all the required rows in here. But data is list of list, which we are not interested. So we are interested to get data in form of data frame. So what we can do is we can type df here. That's the data frame that we define, and we say pd.dataframe. And here we'll pass our data is equal to data, and then we say columns is equal to headers. And let me execute this. Got executed. Let me show you how does df look like. So let me show you df.head, and voila, there you go. So you find the entire table which you just seen in form of this nice data frame, which we can use it for analytics purpose, or in case if you want to create some kind of modeling, you can use this data by your own rather than importing some kind of CSV file or Excel file. You are practically going to any website, scraping it and get the website. Now, as I promised you at the beginning, I'm going to show you how you can go to a particular website and see that you are not crossing any line and you are legally doing web scraping. So what you can do is, for any website, there is a file called robots.txt, which is available to any website. So you need to go to this website, say for example, yahoo.mutual fund, or rather you go to say Yahoo Finance. Let me take you to Yahoo Finance here, right? As you do and click on Yahoo Finance, you should go to this website URL. Just put / and put this robots.txt. This is common. So if you put this robots.txt, this particular extension to any website, it will give you this particular format and it will tell us. If you just go by it, you can notice it whether it is allowed or not allowed. So whether you are allowed to do the web scraping or you are not, you are disallowed from doing so. Right now, we are not seeing any kind of hindrance for us to not to do web scraping. It's legally authorized. But in case if you don't find any detail in here, what you can do is you can go to terms and conditions for each individual website and you will definitely find that in most of the website. Let's see for example, for this website, let's go to the bottom. You can find about say terms and conditions and privacy. So you can go to terms and conditions and find out more about privacy and the rules about the web scraping, whether it's legally allowed or not. Okay, so that's all from my side. I hope you like this video and please do practice the similar code. I'm putting this file in the description box right there. Please do comment your experience about web scraping, maybe this website or some other website. In case if you find any trouble, do let me know. I am always available. I read all your comments and I respond to it. So please don't forget to comment and I will see you next week with some interesting video. Bye-bye. Take care.
Please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.